Are you tired of spending your time and money chasing strategy after strategy only to discover what worked 10, 5, or even 2 years ago is not working now? Things shift fast in the online space, and if you're not keeping up, you're getting left behind. It's time for something different. Welcome to the Marketing, Media, and Money Podcast, where every single episode will be jam-packed with proven, profitable strategies, behind-the-scenes secrets, and what's working now resources from industry experts and global influencers to help you scale your business, shorten your learning curve, and stand out in a crowded, noisy marketplace. And now, your host, award-winning marketing and media strategist, and international speaker, Patty Farmer.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of the Marketing, Media, and Money Podcast. I'm looking forward to sharing another amazing industry expert with you today. And I am really looking forward to you learning all the value she's going to share with us today. So let me tell you a little bit about Tina Kadish. She's known as the Freedom Strategist with Life is Ideal. She's a coach, speaker, and trainer who offers the tools and strategies to help women discover their passion, live their purpose, and create prosperity in their life. She has over 20 plus years experience in the corporate world as a talent acquisition strategist and is a training and development professional. She supports professional women who want to escape the 9-to-5, are in transition, or want to reinvent themselves. She guides them by providing a roadmap that creates clarity, focus, and immediate measurable steps towards their freedom. She also supports overwhelmed women entrepreneurs who are doing it all in their business, and her mission is to empower women to maximize their potential, find freedom, and live more purposefully. Thank you so much, and welcome, Tina.
Thank you so much, Patty, for having me.
So let's just go ahead and jump right in. So the first thing I really want to ask you is, I love hearing how everybody is passionate and purposefully excited about what they're doing now. But we know you didn't wake up one day and just decide to do that, right? It's always a journey and there's always a story. So could you share with us just a little bit of where you were and what happened to make you wake up and decide this is what you knew you were meant to do?
All right, great. Yes, so I was laid off from corporate America when I was in the training and development position that I had with the Fortune 500 company. And one day on November 19, I found myself laid off. And I had never been laid off. I've always left jobs to search for better opportunities. So this was the first time that I found myself really unsure, no clarity with what to do next. And I was a single mom with 2 kids at the time, and I was commuting long distance to get to work. And it turned out to be a blessing after that, and I'll share my journey. But at the time, I really was frustrated and unsure, and I was scared. I had a lot of fear because I didn't know what to do next. So through meeting other people, and I joined networking groups, I found myself meeting someone that introduced me to a tool that I use today to coach my clients to discover their passions. And it's called the Passion Test. Well, this tool gave me clarity that I wanted to be an entrepreneur because I really wanted to be free from the corporate world myself. At the time, tied to a job. And although I liked training and development, I loved being in front of people speaking, but I didn't want to be tied to a corporate position. And this tool gave me the clarity and direction that I needed that would help other women to really find what they're looking for, to living life excited and fulfilled and having joy, not being stuck with no direction, because that's where I was. I was really having no direction and being stuck. So I embarked on a self-discovery journey because it is a journey and this was years ago that I was on this journey, and Life is Ideal launched from this time in my life that I was stuck and unfulfilled.
Wow. And we all know it really is a journey too. And a lot of times I always like to say, we have detours along the way, right? We kind of pivot, right? I always say that whenever that happens, just make the pivot part of the dance, right? Nobody has to know, right? We just change direction. I think that's important. Do you have a name for that tool? Could you share that tool with us, the Passion Test with us?
Yes. So the name of the tool is the Passion Test. That is the name of the tool. And I became a certified Passion Test facilitator. And this tool was originally created by Janet Atwood. and skill because I want to give her credit for the tool. I did not create this tool. I became certified to deliver this tool to my clients. And it's a tool that is global. It's here in the United States, and it's the number one tool that gives you clarity. Because what I've learned is that over 80% of working Americans are not happy with what they're doing. They don't even know what they don't know. And this resonated with me when I met the woman that she was a certified facilitator and introduced me to this and shared this message about how many of us are not happy with what we're doing, that we have no direction. We just go from job to job. We're just surviving instead of thriving.
Oh, I love that. I really love that. And I think a lot of us are actually doing that. We don't really feel like we have a direction, or we're passionate about things, right? We're passionate about a lot of things, but we don't really have the direction or the clarity or which of the things that we're passionate about could we also have a purpose and put that together to be profitable. So I think that really is key. So I love that. That is really, really good. So I have a question.
Yes.
Well, of course I have a question. What would your advice be to a brand new entrepreneur or business owner, or maybe someone who's just transitioned out of corporate, right? So now, they're brand new or they've just transitioned. What would your advice be in the business environment that we're in right now? What would your advice be that they should be really focusing on first?
Well, having the belief in themselves that they can find their passion, really believing in themselves, having the faith. And a lot of times fear prevents us. And that was something that was really, that's why I say believing in yourself, that you can do it, having the faith is the first step. Because a lot of time having our mindset in a positive frame of mind is critical. Because if you keep doubting yourself, so don't sabotage yourself, don't have the self-doubt, just believing that it can and taking action, small action steps to get to that. Because it isn't an overnight process. This took me years to really get the clarity, work with mentors and coaches, because that's another thing I strongly advise is find someone else to guide you, to support you, to give you that direction. I couldn't have done it without working with other coaches myself.
Oh, I agree with you. I always like to say, as soon as someone makes enough money, the biggest and best investment they can make in themselves is to hire a coach.
It's to hire a coach.
Sure.
Yes, hiring the right coach, because every coach specializes in different areas. So finding the right coach who's aligned with what you're looking for, that really understands what you're looking for is critical, because I've invested a lot of money with the wrong coaches and steering me in another direction and wasn't going in the right direction. So working with the right coach is also another advice that I give.
Absolutely. I find that pretty much most successful coaches also have coaches. I always have at least one or two, and there have been times that I've had three, working with different people on different things. Like for myself, I am a business coach, but I specialize in marketing and media, right? So I'm the right coach for someone if that is what they're looking for, is someone who wants a coach that also specializes in marketing and media. But maybe that isn't for them. There's a lot of coaches, and you're right. They need to make sure that they're working with the right person that can get them where they need to be. And I think another thing too, how do you feel about this? I think we should also look at the people we're thinking about hiring. For me, one of the things that I take very seriously is I will not hire somebody who isn't where I want to be. If they're not where I want to be, then I'm not hiring them. I want to know that they can help me to get there, because the reality is a lot of times people spend a lot of time talking about, oh, I'm a this, and this, and I did this, and this. But the reality is that it's really not about what you did. It's what can you help me to achieve if I hire you, right? It's about the results I can get. And that's what people are looking for. So I think it's really, really clear to make sure that the people that you're thinking about hiring have done what it is that you want them to help you do. So I think that's really important, and a success principle I think people should really pay attention to. So that actually leads me into a question that I have about success. What does success mean to you? I know it means different things to different people, but what does it mean to you?
Yes, success to me is not about the money, because the money will come when you're serving others and you're doing what you love to do. And if you're making a difference every day and you have great relationships with people, your family, having strong family, loving what you're doing, enjoying life to me. You know, you're making money, you're traveling, you have strong relationships with family and friends, you're happy with what you're doing. That to me is success, because the money will come when you're doing what you love to do.
I love that. I always like to say, lead with contribution and compensation will follow, for sure. I think that's really important. For me, the most important thing to me, and I think it has changed over time, right? It's not always the same thing, but for me, time freedom is the most important thing in my life, right?
Yes.
I really love to travel. I incorporate that into my life and business, but time freedom is the thing that keeps me going all the time. It's my why. Everybody has to think about what it is for them. So what has been the biggest obstacle, blind spot, or roadblock you've had to overcome?
Is believing in myself and comparing myself to others' successes, and would doubt myself. And what I did was, when I got laid off and I was, I embarked on my journey, but because of fear, I went back to a corporate position about 3 years after. And I stayed in this corporate position until last July, actually 2018. I can't believe we're in 2020, but July of 2018 is when I finally exited my talent acquisition position. And because I was working on my business part-time, and that's another message to the audience, is I don't recommend that you just quit your job and start a business tomorrow. You need a plan. You need to have a plan B, plan A, and I was working on my business part-time as well as working full-time in another position. So I finally exited my job in 2018. But what kept me going, the obstacle, was fear, not believing that I could be successful. The fear of failure, the fear of success, the fear of being rejected by potential clients. And I just was fearful. That was, in a nutshell, was fear that kept me in a job as a corporate recruiter that I didn't even enjoy. But however, I should say, I am now focusing also on helping people with their careers, not finding a job. I'm not a headhunter, anything like that, but I will help you to prepare for that career. So if you want to be an entrepreneur, or you want to be in your career something better, I can help you as a career coach as well. But that was my biggest obstacle, is the fear, just not believing that I could do it.
No, I think that's what I went through when I decided to become a speaker. When I first did, I thought, oh my goodness, why would people want to pay to come and hear me speak? I really asked myself that question. And I kept expecting, when I very first became a speaker, like somebody in the audience was going to stand up and say BS, right? I really kept waiting for that. And all of a sudden, it took me a while for me to realize that in reality, when you're speaking, you're talking about your point of view. There's always going to be somebody else who thinks of it differently, right? I mean, we all have different ways of getting to the same place. And I always like to say, I'm not in the information business. Google's in the information business, right? YouTube's in the information business. I'm in the transformation business, right? And there's many different ways to help somebody with that transformation. So once I actually realized that it wasn't changing me to be like somebody else, it was speaking in front of audiences that needed to hear it the way I said it, changed everything for me. But it was a mindset shift. And a lot of times that really is what it is, and why you need a coach or have someone help you, because you keep getting in your own way. And I think a lot of times what happens is you can't write a new chapter if you keep rereading the old one. You need somebody else to help you to shift that so that you can move forward. And that's priceless.
Absolutely. Your mindset is critical. And that's really the first step that also in my business coaching, I coach entrepreneurs with their mindset, because it's something that I've had to work on myself, going from scarcity to abundance, really believing that there is enough people out there to buy from us. And that's one of the things that sometimes we hold ourselves back, thinking that, will they buy from us? Just like you were thinking as a speaker, why would someone want to listen to you? There is someone, the right audience will listen to you, because it's got to resonate with them. Not everyone is going to need what we have to offer.
That's right. Not everybody is our ideal client. And that was something that was a mind shift for me too, right? Is once you realize that everybody isn't your ideal client. And so a lot of times people like to talk about target market, making sure that you're in front of your target market. I think that's only step one. really making sure you're talking to your target buyers is what's even more important, right? And so your target market is people who have a problem that you have a solution to, but your target buyer is someone who has a problem that you have a solution to, but they're actively looking for a solution. So that really is even more important. And so I think that people should change the focus a little. It's something I work on with my clients all the time, is how do we get past target market, go to target buyer, and beyond that, which I think is really, really important. So if you could have lunch with any CEO, this is a pretty common question, but I have my own little twist. Who would it be, and what's the most important question that they could answer for you?
So if I wanted to have lunch with the CEO of a company, I'd like to be honest with you, I'd like to meet Amazon's CEO.
Ooh, what's the question you'd want to ask?
How did you overcome your challenges in business? How did you get from where you were to where you are today? And what would be your number one ingredient that you...
Ooh, that's a good one.
What would be your number one ingredient? Yeah, what would be your number one ingredient for success in business?
I love that. You know, it really is a recipe, right? And
it is.
So getting all the ingredients all sprinkled in there just right really does make a lot of difference. But I mean, the reality is where Amazon started out and where Amazon is now, I mean, that was a journey in itself too. So you're right. That would be a great conversation I'd like to listen to as well. So I think that is really, really a good thing. So what's the lesson that took you the longest to learn?
The lesson was not comparing myself to others. You know, everybody has a journey, and you look at others and you think they're successful, but you didn't see the sacrifices, the challenges that they've had. So it looks easy on the outside. So a lesson for me is always saying, I'm where I am right now, and it's okay. And I might not be where others are, but I just started as a full-time entrepreneur in 2018. I was doing it part-time. So it's not a long time that I've been a full-time entrepreneur. However, my story is that I started as a corporate woman and I exited the corporate, and I'm now a full-time entrepreneur. So for me, that's a success, that I was able to overcome that fear and finally step into faith. And
I love
believing in myself, that I actually took that leap of faith that so many of us are afraid to do. And timing wasn't right. And 2018 had to be the right time, because I also believe that how much pain are you in before you make a decision? And will you stay stuck in that situation? I was in enough pain that I had said, enough is enough. I'm doing it. And this is the way it's going to be. But I was planning it. I was more intentional with the planning. Like saving money. That's another thing. Save the money, emergency. You need so many months of emergency fund so that when you are an entrepreneur, you have money to fall back on. My husband is self-employed as well. So we're both self-employed. I was carrying the health insurance. That was another reason why I stayed in my job at the time. But I took a leap of faith, and I'm proud of myself for that. And I'm not comparing myself to others, because we all have our own journeys.
And I think the thing that people don't realize is that when you are comparing yourself, sometimes you don't know where that other person is in their journey, right? You only know one side of the story, right? Your side. And so I think you really do yourself and others a disservice when you do that. So I really love that you mentioned that, because I think that's really good. So Tina,
Thank you.
One of the things that I know that you're known for and that you talk about a lot, and actually what made me want to have you on the show, is your 7 pillars to thrive in life and business. Now, really thriving is really important, and I love that. So I know that we don't have enough time on the show to literally for you to teach us all of them, but could you just share with us what those 7 pillars are?
Yes, thank you so much, because I have a book coming out on those 7 pillars. My goal is in the first quarter of 2020. So freedom is my core value. So I created the 7 pillars. So what I did was I created a chapter for each letter of the word. So F is for faith, really having the faith that you can do it, faith versus fear. R is release, beginning with an end in mind, having a vision in mind, and really that action trumps fear. The E is evaluation, really stepping back to viewing the big picture. Like, what is your why? Okay. Knowing your why is so important. So evaluate that. The other E is energy. The your professional image, the magic of momentum I talk about, like where your attention goes, attention flows. Where you're putting your attention is so important. Setting intentions every day is something that I focus on for myself, for my clients. The D stands for determination. For me, I was determined that I was going to overcome any obstacle, and I kept going. I didn't quit. I was determined to succeed. And so I share that in my book as well. And then the O is optimism, really relying on the tools to get you through this. The affirmations, I love affirmations. I believe in the law of attraction, having a vision, working with positive people, surrounding yourself with positive people, that, just having optimism that you can go through the ups and downs. And the M stands for mindset, because I ended with mindset, that you want to have a positive growth mindset. When you're going through everything you're going through in life, you really want to end it with that. And I didn't start with mindset. I wanted really freedom, and faith was the first one, because I just, having faith in yourself is key. So these are my 7 pillars that I've created my book around, that I'm going to be coaching potential clients on how can they achieve freedom in their life and business from these 7 pillars. So I foresee a course, I foresee other programs coming out of this book in the near future.
And we can't wait for that
Thank
to come
you.
out. That sounds absolutely fabulous. So make sure you get back with me on that. I would really, really love that. So how have you utilized media? Right, this is the Marketing, Media, and Money Show. So how have you utilized media in these 7 pillars when you are, really talking and reaching out to entrepreneurs and people who are transitioning out of corporate? What types of media are you using? I mean, there's so many types nowadays, video and magazines and podcasts. I mean, there's just so many. Facebook groups, Facebook Lives. There's so many things. What are some of the media outlets that you have chosen to use to promote your business that are working for you?
Yeah, so I've chosen Facebook Lives. I have a Facebook group and I do a lot of lives. I have a lot of my videos on YouTube, so I've used YouTube a lot, as well as podcasts like this is another form of media to create visibility. Because one of the things I want to do is create visibility for myself, finding the right media. I use Facebook, LinkedIn. LinkedIn is another area that I've used a lot to really get the message out to others. And magazines. I've connected with the magazine in the New Jersey area, where I've done some articles, and I've really done some magazine articles with the magazine last year. So I've used different types of media.
That's awesome. I like hearing about that. I think it's really, really important. A lot of times people just think media means social media, but in reality, there are so many different forms of media. It's really important to incorporate them in people's businesses. So what's a book that you would recommend that every business owner read?
I love Jack Canfield. So he is one of my favorite people among John Maxwell and as well, but I really love Jack Canfield. The Success Principles is one of my favorite books, and it's like my Bible. There's so many pieces in there that he talks about that I've incorporated also in my coaching with clients, because it's really a great book. But I'm a self-learner. I'm always reading books all the time. I always have multiple books that I'm reading. So, but I have to say that one is one of my favorites.
Oh, I love that. So what's the best piece of advice you've ever received when it comes to your business?
Is to be patient and do something every day towards your goals is what I have received. But being patient with yourself, having empathy for yourself, don't be critical of yourself. Believe
I have
that
to
you
tell
can.
myself all the time, Patty, just give yourself grace.
I know, because every day, don't beat yourself up. We're out there being so critical of ourselves, and, just every day, just pat yourself on the back and say, you've got this, you're doing great, and be patient, because it may not come on your time, but it will come. Continue every day, being consistent every day towards your goal.
So Tina, how can people connect with you?
So they can connect with me on my website that I have, lifeisideal.com. And that's the best place because you can also get my free offer, or I should say my complimentary offer to my audience here is the 7-step roadmap. That's my gift to all of you for joining here and getting the 7-step blueprint to achieve freedom.
I love that. And we'll have that link in the show notes for everybody. So that will really work for them. So we come to a portion right now that I like to call the open mic portion, where this is my version of social karaoke. And what I want to do is I want to turn the mic over to you. And I really love for you to share right now. This is the Marketing, Media, and Money Show. So what is your best marketing, media, or money strategy that you'd like to share? Value bomb, Tom.
Yes, thank you so much. Yes, it's to share valuable content and consistent to your targeted. And I love what you just said earlier, targeted buyers, because I said targeted audience, because we are the problem solvers for their pain. They all have pain and we are solving their pain. So being really valuable content, not just promoting what you're doing every day. So providing valuable content, consistent content to your buyers.
Oh, that is really great. I love that. I always like to say all the time, you have to be consistent and relevant, right?
Yes.
But you have to be consistent with that content, however you deliver it. There's multiple ways to deliver it, but as long as you're being consistent and relative, and relevant, I think that works really, really good. So Tina, thank you so much for being here with us on the show. I appreciate you sharing these value bombs with us. I mean, really great, these success principles. So for everyone out there, if you enjoyed today's episode, please like, subscribe, and review the podcast on your favorite listening platform. And make sure to join us on Facebook in the Marketing, Media, Money Magazine podcast and event Facebook group. We would love to have you get up close and personal with our guests and the guests to our sister magazine, Marketing, Media, Money as well. So until the next episode, make it a great day. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for joining us today on the Marketing, Media, and Money podcast. To shorten your learning curve even more, make sure to grab your free copy of the Marketing, Media, and Money magazine at www.marketingmediamoney.com. I promise your business will thank you.